Alright everybody, welcome back to Gemballer Media. Today we are going to be diving into men's bracketology, looking at CBS Sports. So let's look over the list of teams quickly. Last four in, we have Missouri, Santa Clara, TCU, Berkeley. That surprises me. First four out, VCU. I think they're a really good mid-major. I'd love to see them in. New Mexico, Seton Hall, USC. I do not think USC should be in my personal opinion. They get blown out by anybody good. First round, overall top seed, we have Duke, which honestly, they beat Notre Dame by 40 last night. Duke is good. They beat Michigan. Duke is good. So, looking down really quick, let's hop right on in to our bracketology. Starting on up here, we have Duke versus either Howard or UMBC. Haven't watched Howard or UMBC this year, but I'm going to go with the Howard Bison. I've heard people are kind of fond of them. With that being said, though, I am going to pick Duke in this game. Looking on down to St. Louis versus Clemson, I'm riding the St. Louis wave. I think they're really good. I think they are a good team, and I would love to see them get a nice win. I also think Clemson is declining at a bad time. I believe they've lost 4 out of their last 5 games. I don't trust Clemson right now, at least. Moving on down, we have either Yale or we have number 5 Tennessee versus number 12 Yale. Yale can shoot the ball. I've heard in the Ivy League it's between Yale and Harvard. Yale always seems to be coming out of the Ivy League as the champion. They shoot the 3 really well. If I'm not mistaken, they shoot the 3 ball at the highest percentage, and a lot of their shots come from 3. Tennessee is a good defensive team. Tennessee just lost to Missouri last night, so I'm going to go with the 12 seed. Give me the Yale Bulldogs to beat Tennessee. Going down, the Vols are going to go down. Then we have 4 seed Texas Tech versus number 13 Liberty. I have been thinking about this one as I was filling out every team in the bracket, and there's a part of me that's like JT Toppin towards ACL. JT Toppin is their notorious best player. Liberty is a good team. They don't play a ton of great caliber teams, but I feel like overall they do have height. I know that. I think they shoot the ball pretty well. I just don't know if I could see Tech losing in the first round. A lot of people are saying they don't think they see it. This one's really difficult. I would love a good Cinderella run right here. I don't think Tech has been playing really well. I mean, they just lost to ASU. At ASU, Toppin did go down on that game. But I'm going to go with Liberty. This is the madness. It's supposed to be madness. Going down to number 6, Wisconsin versus either Missouri or Cal. I would go Missouri to beat Cal. Missouri just beat Tennessee. But I'm going to have to go Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin, opposite to Clemson, they're a team that is peaking at a great time. They're playing so well. I am really high on Wisconsin. Michigan State versus Eastern Tennessee State University. I'm going to go with Michigan State. I don't think that Michigan State is a great 3 seed, to be honest. I think they should be a 3 seed. I don't think they're that dangerous, to be honest. But I feel similarly with Michigan State as I do with Gonzaga. Mark Few and Tom Izzo always make the Sweet 16. It's notorious. I don't know if that will happen this year for Michigan State, but they're definitely getting out of the round of 64. Moving on down to Villanova versus St. Mary's. I don't really understand how St. Mary's net is so high because they don't play anybody other than like Gonzaga, and they've lost to Gonzaga. So I don't really understand how they're a bid to the tournament, to be quite honest. I'm going to go with Villanova. Villanova has had a decent season, and I just think that they play, I was going to say better overall competition in the Big East, but They really don't. The Big East is not good this year. But we're just going to go with Villanova in this one. Moving down, Houston or Navy. Houston is on a 3-game losing streak, but I, to be honest, think if they're going to lose, it's better that they are losing right now. Hopefully they can figure it out because I really like Houston to make a big run. Their defense is amazing. I really like Houston. And I honestly really like this path for them, to be honest. So let's move on down to UConn versus 16 seed Merrimack. I'm going to go with UConn. I'm not super high on UConn this year, to be completely honest, but I don't think they're going to lose to a 1 seed. Now I feel like I'm going to eat my words. Like, what if they do? But then we're going to have 8 seed UCF versus number 9 Miami. I think UCF is, I don't know. I think that they could beat UConn. We'll get to that. But they've beat Kansas. They've beat Tech this year. They have really good wins. They play in a really good Big 12. I personally think the Big 12 is the best conference in basketball. I don't know why the SEC is getting 11-something teams in. I think that's crazy in my opinion. And the Big 12 has 8, hopefully, if TCU makes it, as of right now. But yeah, I would go with UCF in this game. Okay, Arkansas, 5 seed, Arkansas versus 12 seed, University of South Florida. I have heard amazing things about South Florida, but I'm also really high on Arkansas for some reason. I really like Arkansas. This pains me because I want to pick UCF and I pray that they get anyone. Honestly, I'd probably pick them over any other 5 seed. I would pick them over Tennessee. I would pick them over Vanderbilt. And I would pick them over Louisville. So honestly, the only 5 seed I would have them losing to would be Arkansas. I just think that I don't know. I just have a good feeling about Arkansas. I'm going to go with them. Kansas versus FC Austin. I'm going to go Kansas. I think Kansas had a really bad loss to Cincinnati. I won't say really bad loss, but it was a bad loss. They lost by almost 20 at home to Cincinnati, who wasn't really even in contention for making the tournament until that win. But Cincinnati's still pretty far out looking in. But I think that Kansas will get it done against a 13 seed. Don't know much about SC Austin, so maybe if they're really good and Kansas is having a really bad game, it could happen. But I am still high on Kansas. I think they have a really high ceiling and potentially only around a 32 floor. So we'll see. Going down to UNC versus Miami, Ohio. Give me Miami, Ohio. This is my Cinderella. I have so many Cinderellas in this bracket, but Miami of Ohio is America's team, and I want to see them win just because people are saying that I think they're 29-0, something crazy right now. It's like, well, they play nobodies. Okay, but it's still very impressive to go 29-0. That is an amazing team. We saw, I don't remember the last team that went undefeated. The one most recently in my mind was Gonzaga, I think in 2020. Was that the 2020 season? And they, I believe, made it to the national championship. And they did lose, but they made a big run. So I think winning is just a really good thing to have this time of year, and they've had it all year. All right, moving down to, I don't know why this thing is in the way, but down to number 3, Florida or Austin Peay. I also think Florida is peaking at a really good time. The beginning of this year, I think a lot of us were worried. We're like, what is going on with Florida? I'm confused. I'm scared. They've turned it around. They are the best team in the SEC. I think Arkansas and Florida are probably the best. Moving down to either Utah State or Texas A&M. To be really honest, I don't watch a ton of the Mountain West, and I haven't watched A&M at all this year. Utah State notoriously gets stomped on in March. A&M, they play kind of ugly basketball, just very defense-focused, not fast, slow-paced. Utah State's the opposite. I'm going to go with A&M just because won in the tournament before. I don't know if Utah State has ever won a game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know. I just don't trust them. I think they're good this year in the Mountain West, but I don't know how that would compare to March Madness. Then we're going to have Purdue versus Marshall. I'm going to put Purdue through against Marshall. Going up to Michigan versus either Bethune-Cookman or Morehead State. I am taking Bethune-Cookman because they played a really close game overtime at the beginning of the year with Auburn. Don't think Auburn is that good, but it's a high major school they played really close with. I am going to pick Michigan though. NC State or UGA. I'm going to go NC State. I think NC State was a team at the beginning, even middle of the year, that I was concerned about. I was like, their players aren't playing well. It doesn't seem to be translating. Their coach was not seeming to feel it. Like the players weren't feeling it. It seemed concerning for me. But I think over time they've played a lot better. So I am in favor of NC State beating UGA. Moving down to Vanderbilt versus Belmont. Also haven't watched Belmont this year. Vanderbilt at the beginning of the year, I was really high on them. I really liked them, but now they're really inconsistent. They're kind of hard to gauge. Belmont, I believe, is a really good three-point shooting team. Vanderbilt also can shoot the ball really high percentage. They love to shoot, so I am gonna go Vandy in this game, but I wouldn't be surprised to see an upset. Number 4, Nebraska versus UNC Wilmington. I want the Cornhuskers to get their first NCAA tournament win, and I like Nebraska. I think they're a really good team. They need to make their shots, but I think that they can get it done versus UNC Wilmington. I don't want to say no problem, but I think they will win by at least 8, probably double digits. Moving down to St. John's versus either Santa Clara or TCU. I am not sure what to do in this game for Santa Clara TCU. I almost feel like TCU plays up to the caliber of the teams they play. I don't think that Santa Clara plays a ton of people on the West Coast Conference, and that kind of scares me. I almost wish that TCU was playing, I don't know, who's the other playing team? It was Missouri or Berkeley. Like, I would rather them play a higher major team. For some reason, that does scare me, which is unfortunate. I either could see TCU beating Santa Clara, then beating St. John's, or Santa Clara beating TCU, then St. John's beating Santa Clara. I'm just trying to view this. If I have St. John's, I would have them be versus Virginia. Oh, that is a difficult one. All right, I'm gonna go TCU beat Santa Clara. Don't feel too good about that. I'm optimistic. Then I'm gonna have TCU beat St. John's. I feel better about them beating St. John's than beating Santa Clara. I don't know why. It's just a feeling. Give me the Frogs. Then we're going to have Virginia versus North Dakota State. I really like Virginia. I think they have a lot of good pieces to them, and I could see Virginia going on a run. Moving down to Iowa versus Auburn. I don't understand how Auburn is an at-large bid at this point. I don't understand. Like, I really don't. The SEC, I also don't understand how they have 11, 12 bids. Like, it's just mind-boggling to me, to be completely honest. I'm trying to find where it says how many of each team. I don't know. I know that Joe Lenardi posted it. So, like, SEC has 11. That's crazy to me. Big Ten has 9. Makes sense. ACC has been really good this year. 8 makes sense. Big 12, honestly, Big 12 men's basketball standings. If we look at this, let's look at this. This is women's. I put in men. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We should have 8. I think we should have 8. I don't think that West Virginia is at the point of making it. I think Cincinnati has a chance, but I don't know. I just think if we then go and look at the SEC, like how they're 6-9. Like I just don't understand that. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think that Texas should be in, to be honest. 7, 8. I think they should have 8. I don't think Georgia should be in, probably. I don't think Auburn should be in. I don't know. But who am I? I'm not the committee. But I am going to pick Iowa over Auburn in this game. Moving down to Iowa State versus Wright State. Oh my goodness, this would be awesome to get Iowa versus Iowa State. You know that game would be so fun if you're a fan of either of those teams. Or just you love basketball. All right. Moving down, Arizona versus LIU. We're going to go Zona. I don't really care that they've had a couple losses. I think they're that good. We need Koa Pete to come back, though. SMU versus Texas. Give me SMU. Louisville versus High Point. Louisville could be one of those teams that they lose in the first round, or they could have a really good shooting game. I'm going to go with Louisville. I feel like that's a safer option. And then Alabama versus Utah Valley. I do think that Utah Valley does shoot the ball really well, but I think Alabama is they're a high major team that shoots high percentage threes versus a mid major that shoots high percentage threes. Would love to see Utah Valley beat Alabama, but I'm going to go Alabama. Moving down, BYU versus Ohio State. BYU is declining at a really bad time. BYU is not playing well. Honestly, Ohio State is I honestly would prefer to see BYU play any of the other 11 seeds for some reason. I just don't think Ohio State could beat them. I do think TCU could beat BYU. They almost did. I do think that Miami, Ohio could beat BYU. And I do think Missouri could, but I don't feel that strongly about Ohio State. So I'm going to go BYU. Gonzaga versus UC Irvine. I could see an upset in this. If Braden Huff isn't back, Gonzaga is in trouble, I feel. UC Irvine, though, I don't know if they have someone to stop Graham Ike. So we're going to go the Zags. And then we're going to look at Kentucky versus UCLA. Give me Kentucky. Again, UCLA, I know that they just beat who did UCLA just beat? I want to say was it Michigan State? I mean, like they destroyed USC. I just don't get why USC is also in it. That's another conversation. But UCLA, they beat Illinois on like a buzzer beater. Good win, but I mean losing by 30 to Michigan, losing by over 20 to Michigan State. Yeah, they beat USC. USC shouldn't be in the tournament. Good win against Illinois, but like, I don't know. I just don't, like, barely beating Washington, blew out Rutgers, you should. They did beat Purdue, which is a good win. Indiana's not a bad loss. I don't know. They're just, like, inconsistent. I don't know. But I'm picking Kentucky. I think Kentucky has more I don't know. I'm just going to go with Kentucky. Then Illinois or Portland State. Give me Illinois. Oops. Okay. Let's speed round. Duke versus St. Louis. I would love to pick St. Louis, but I think Duke is legit. So give me Duke in this one. Then Yale versus Liberty. I'm going to go with the Yale Bulldogs. I feel like Yale is just giving Cinderella team this year, and I love it. Wisconsin or Michigan State. Give me Wisconsin. Again, I think they're peaking at the right time. I think Michigan State won't make it to the Sweet 16. I don't. All right. Villanova versus Houston. Give me Houston. I think Houston will limit them to 45, 50 points, and I think Flemings and Sharp and all of them are going to go off in that game if I had to predict it. UConn versus UCF. I could see an upset here. I'm going to pick it. I think UCF has the potential to upset UConn. I think UConn is the weakest 1 seed, and I don't think the Big East was challenging, and I think that UCF takes them down. Arkansas versus Kansas. Honestly, Kansas has no depth on their bench, if I'm correct. I like Arkansas. I think they'll score the ball. I think they're a sneaky team for some reason. I'm going to go with the Pigs. I'm going with Arkansas on that one. Miami, Ohio versus Florida. Unfortunately, I got to go with the Gators just because they're peaking at the right time. I would love for Miami, Ohio to keep it going, but I got to go with the Gators. A&M versus Purdue. I don't think A&M is good, all that good. I think Purdue is a good team. So give me Purdue. Michigan's up here. We're going to look at Michigan versus NC State. Michigan has played some tight games with some not great teams. I think it might be close in like the first half, but I think they run away with it. I just think Michigan is too good. Vanderbilt versus Nebraska. I'm going with Nebraska. I think it's their year to go on a little bit of a run. TCU versus Virginia. Oh man. I think Virginia is just too talented. I think that they're a fast-paced team and they know how to play defense. TCU can play up to their competition. Beat Florida, beat Iowa State, beat Wisconsin. But, I mean, they also lost to Colorado. And New Orleans at the beginning of the year. So, I would love for them to. This is hard. I want to pick TCU. I do. Do they find a way? I don't know. I'm going to go with Virginia. I am going to go with Virginia. All right. Iowa versus Iowa State. I don't know. I don't think Iowa is as high level, as fast paced as I would like. So I have to go with Iowa State. I don't think Iowa State is as good as they're being spoken to be. I don't know. Arizona, SMU. Give me Arizona. I do think that SMU will give them a run for their money. I think it'll be similar to the Michigan-NC State game. Those games I honestly think will be similar scoring, similar in general. But I think Arizona is just the far more superior team. Louisville versus Alabama. Honestly, they're like carbon copies, I feel like, of each other. They both shoot the ball all the time, but I would trust Alabama more so. They have more experience as of late going far into the tournament. BYU versus Gonzaga. This game would be difficult. BYU looks really bad right now. Like, they don't look good. Gonzaga doesn't look bad. There's just no, like, oomph to them. There's nothing that's, like, selling them to me as a Sweet 16 team. But I gotta go with BYU because I just think AJ is gonna have a game. And if it was AJ versus Graham Ike, I would go with AJ. So I'm going with BYU. And then Kentucky versus Illinois. I gotta go with Illinois. They score the ball at a crazy clip, and I just think I spelled that wrong. I just think that for me is the right pick. Okay, Duke versus Yale. Give me Duke. Love you, Bulldogs, but Duke is legit. Wisconsin versus Houston. I don't know. I think Wisconsin could do it. I think they could make the Elite Eight. I think that's their cap. I think they're playing really good basketball. I think they win good games. I think Houston has been proven to be beatable. So give me Wisconsin. We're going to have a 6 seed make it to the Elite Eight, which is awesome. Moving down to UCF, so we have either an 8 seed or 5 seed Arkansas making the Elite Eight. I'm going to go with Arkansas. I just think their athleticism is what's going to get them there. Then Florida versus Purdue. Give me 3 seed Florida to beat Purdue and make it to the Elite Eight. Michigan versus Nebraska. They've played before, but I think that Michigan just has more variety of how they can win. Nebraska, it feels like a lot of their reliance is on threes. Michigan, they can shoot the three decently, but they have big guys inside. They have more options. Virginia versus Iowa State. I'm going with Virginia. I really like Virginia. Again, I think they're peaking at the right time. Moving down to Arizona versus Alabama. I think Arizona could be in trouble if Bama's hitting all their threes. However, Alabama hasn't had a crazy season where they're known for their threes. If you think of Bama, you're always going to think of threes, but I think Arizona is the more steady team. They can shoot threes if they need to, they just choose not to. So I'm going to go with Arizona. Then BYU, Illinois. I think Illinois is just going to, I don't know. I think that's the game that Illinois just kind of takes over. Honestly, I could see it being like a 17-point game. I just could see it. For our Final Four, Duke versus Wisconsin. Give me Duke. They've honestly proven me wrong. I always kind of go in hesitantly with Duke just because it's always a young freshman core, but they're amazing, 5 stars, but they've just played amazing this whole year. There's nothing. They just beat Michigan. They are a legit team. Arkansas versus Florida. They've played before. I think Florida, it's the only thing for me that is question mark is Xavier Lee and Boogie Flan. Will they show up for 1, 2, 3, 4 games consecutively? Do they have enough? I don't know. Arkansas is honestly I think they'll go on a run, but I don't know if Arkansas is an Elite Eight team. I think Florida just has more variety to win. So I'm going to go with Florida to the Final Four. Then we're going to have Michigan versus either Virginia. I could see Michigan losing to Virginia, so I'm going to pick it. Give me the 4 seed or 3 seed Virginia to the Final Four. Arizona, Illinois. This could be a game 2, and I could see Illinois winning. And I am going to pick them to beat Arizona, which is crazy because in almost every bracket and every time I talk to people, I always say Arizona's my pick. But with Koa Pete out, Arizona's lost a couple games. I still think they absolutely are probably my favorite to win. But I think given this lineup in this bracket, I'll go with Illinois. Duke versus Florida. Give me Duke. I just think Duke has every piece that they need. They just blow people out. And then Virginia, Illinois. I think Illinois has more pieces, so I'm going to go with Illinois. I think they have a lot of great pieces to them. And then Duke versus Illinois. I'm going to go with Duke. I have Duke winning the national championship in this bracket. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.